have to worry about cavalry too much. And then, of course, the Falconetti for opening the breaches. And on the other side, we can see a bit more default setup. Every different tier is in there, apart from Grey, of course. We have a lot of green units with Couturiers. Couturiers being available is a big thing here. You can see a ton of those being brought. Then Rattan Pikes, Rattan Round Shields, and then in purple, of course, the Dagger Eggs and some Spear Sergeants, and in golden, a lot of cavalry and some Heilungs. Here we go, loading in. Beautiful cinematic of Healing Fjord. Here you can see the beautiful water effects from Congress Blade. I think I never really realized how beautiful the water in this game is when I played, but those cinematics, you can just see the love to the detail. And we will be loading in Bandits. Have to take this one. They absolutely need every single win they can get today, and then they still have to pray. But oh boy, Bandits, they definitely want to stay in the Chivalric division and don't be demoted to Feudal, because of course Chivalric is where the best of the best are located, and you absolutely want to be part of those. Loading should be completed in a few seconds. And then we can see what side the attack will be coming from. Here we go, two-sided attack. One half of the Bandits on the left-hand side and one half on the right-hand side. We have a beautiful new overlay. You can see it here in your screen. And we can see here on the right-hand side already a ton of units going to that gate. 2 times camels in there. Then all the heroes and 1 unit of Spear Sergeants to make sure those camels are protected from range. And we can already see on the top of your screen, there's a unit difference of 300. So Bandits bringing 300 more units, or 250 than LeftoverSmurfs, but that's mostly because they just brought 2 sets of green, every single hero of them, and then 2 sets of golden. And those green units, they are absolutely cheap and just a ton of them. While LeftoverSmurfs, they also brought a lot of green units, but only 1 set, and they brought more of the fewer units in the set. Units with some cavalry units, especially. I think mostly cavalry is making a difference here, but that cavalry could strike heavily as soon as LeftoverSmurfs go for that calf charges. Bandits, not really sure where they want to go. Falconetti opened the breach, and with that the access to the city is given. The left-hand breach, I think, is still there, so nothing happened there, but the middle one is opened, and like that we can... oh, left-hand side is also opened, so there we go, both breaches opened up, and Bandits can access the map from every single entry there is. So I told you before, there are two main gates, but now we have even more access points with the 2 breaches. So we have 4 in total, 2 to B and 2 to A, and I feel like that could be a B push from the looks of it, with maybe some heroes going for A and trying to do a sneaky cap it, trying to overwhelm the few heroes on A. But oh no, there are even more coming to A, so that one will be a full split push. Split going in, and here we go. First try from the Bandits to get on one of those points. 5 minutes 20 left. Remember, time is a big problem most of the times on this map. You don't have the time to bring all 4 unit sets because you're just limited so much from that timer. And that push is coming in. It feels like almost all green, so that push is probably just to weaken the defenses and then quickly die. You might see some heroes already dying in the process, and then just go in with the golden units. First cavalry charge from the defense coming in. LeftoverSmurfs trying to make this one quick. Shield Mains on the point, very quickly dealt with. Rattan Pikes as well. The Coke is doing a good job. I see already Rattan Round Shields in the back of the defense. We have another unit of cavalry just stomping the units of Bandits. Purple shields just lying on the ground. Coke is doing a good job to whittle down those red and pikes, but that push onto B is just looking so promising here from the Bandits. They have already started capturing that B point, and LeftoverSmurfs, what are you going to do? They have to come back. Cavalry's coming through. There is no anti-cav. That's a big problem for the Bandits. They need this anti-cav that they brought. They need some phalanx units. They need maybe Imperial Pikes, because the Red and Pikes and the Spear Sergeants, they can't hold on to that point with the limited amount of anti-cav potential they have. And like that, it feels like Bandits are breaking apart here on the point, falling apart. B should be safe, but there's cavalry coming through the gate, being stopped by the phalanx, and the point will be wiped in a few seconds. LeftoverSmurfs trying to make this quick, but the A point is being captured, and the B point still in some fighting here. Trap going onto B. That one might hit very hard if there's one trap shell coming through. No, it doesn't seem like it, but hey, almost half captured. Most of the fighting is going on B. And nobody, it feels like nobody from LeftoverSmurfs really willing to go to that A point, so they have to drop it. Nobody's going there, and that A point will be secured. Cavalry, second cavalry from Bandits just rushing into that braced unit of phalanx, and I don't really like that strat, because I mean, of course, you're not going to win the fight with your cavalry against a braced unit of phalanx just all looking into your direction. So 2 units of cavalry already wasted in there. And now let's have a look here. The defenders trying to fall back. LeftoverSmurfs trying to get away. Trap hindering the retreat. And now cavalry is coming through. Cavalry, big, massive cavalry from the Bandits, clearing that retreat completely. Phalanx, they were running away. Next unit of cavalry coming through, and there's even more. Oh my goodness, that cavalry is just dealing so incredibly much damage. Here you go. B point will be secured in a few seconds, and like that, Bandits have secured at least the first step of this map, and the unit trade is still in their favor. But remember, Bandits started with 250 more units, and now they don't even have 100 leads. You can also see here in the bottom, new overlay for everything. Beautiful. I like the look of it. It just feels clean, very clean. Maybe you can also write in the comments, in the chat, how you like that new overlay. Because I personally, I really like it. You can see here, Bandits still in the lead of more than 260 units in tier 5. But the tier 4 and tier 3 heavily in the favor of LeftoverSmurfs. Trap to support that push forwards, to help group up and then go in securely. But the Red and Vipers from the defense already shooting back onto the Bandits, and they have to retreat once again. They have one unit of Orochi and Shieldmains here in the bottom. Orochi will just get 1 or 2 free kills here onto Spear Sergeants, maybe not. But the heroes, they have to fall back, and the Pike will be dealt with. The Atagi is out, and that means that's a 15 to 14 advantage. Bandits already in a big, massive unit deficit, I would say, from the start at least. And now they lost even more with those Orochi, the Red and Vipers once again shooting in. And like that, Bandits, they are just losing on every side. Dual Blade trying to get maybe 1 or 2 sneaky kills, but Bandits, they just absolutely have to rotate, and that's exactly what they are doing. They are trying to approach from a different angle, but I'm not sure if that left hand side is really the key to the C point. Maybe they are rotating back. There we go. It seems like it will be approached from the bottom, just straight onto C, to make sure the cavalry from the LeftoverSmurfs is not going to be a problem. The rank archers with the massive range, dealing incredible amounts of damage here to the top. Very good place here. Nicely protected, also with some pikes. LeftoverSmurfs trying to go for the flank. Will it be successful? Just 1 unit of Shieldmains trying to block the back. They will not really do much. Have to fall back, losing more than half of the unit. And like that, C point could be secured, but at what cost? The rank archers still shooting in, but that fight is going on so many different angles. Trap is good. Trap will hit a ton off the flank, but a lot already broke through. cavalry of LeftoverSmurfs is useless here, so that might be the advantage Bandits need. They are fighting strong. Flank, can they deal with the flank? It seems like yes, because flank will have to fight up the stairs, and like that, LeftoverSmurfs losing a ton of units, but still, on the top, you can see it. Unit count is now even, and even is not what you want when you start with 250 more units in the beginning. That fight could even cost more with the Rattan archers on the side and the cavalry just lurking around. I see one unit of Orochi in there, maybe some Imperial Pikes, but the cavalry is just breaking through. Orochi not ready for it. More than half of the unit of the Orochi being wiped, and that was just what was left in anti-cav for the Bandits. They are now even down 40 units, and it's just getting worse and worse here every single time they go for the fight. Tier 5 units now almost even, and that cavalry is going for something here. Here we go, one cavalry charge, second one going in. Will there be more? Maybe not. Cavalry not really willing to go in. Good trade though, but the phalanx, the respawner phalanx and the camels, very much needed here. The supply point and the outpost point on that map also secured now, and with that you have a ramp to the top, to the supply point. But the Bandits, they definitely need an opening to that map. They are still up 70, almost 70 tier 5 units, but they are down more than 200 tier 4 units and 160 tier 3 units, so that will be a big difference. Advantage for them once again in tier 2, but that will not make a huge difference because I can still see some Cocos on the side of LeftoverSmurfs, and they just deal so quickly with green units. Bandits now with the Varang archers and the berserkers, the default berserkers being spawned from the outpost point, trying to get something going. Maybe a Varang archers could be potentially very impactful here, but they are being sent in very deeply, and those Varangs could be in quite some trouble when there's defensive archers. I don't see some, so for the moment they can just rain down the devastating shots here onto the defense. You can just see them tearing LeftoverSmurfs apart, LeftoverSmurfs falling back, trying to get the units to safety, and they can't really hold that position. Phalanx is going in, it's already braced. Camels will also brace to the left hand side. There will be some monastics trying to get behind the cavalry, behind the camels in specific, but there are more camels, there is phalanx, and those monastics are dealt with very quickly. More cavalry coming in from LeftoverSmurfs. Will they be stopped? They will. There we go. Bandits at the moment doing a good job dealing with the cavalry, with the defensive forces, and sending in their own cavalry. Cavalry once again being stopped, and I don't really like the approach from the LeftoverSmurfs to go into those phalanx with all of the cavalry, but there's just too much infantry to handle. Bandits, they have to fall back a bit at least. Respawners coming in, trying to get in with the cavalry, but they have to retreat because that push out from LeftoverSmurfs is just so massive. Cavalry trying to go in with the trap as support, but that's just such a massive defensive setup from LeftoverSmurfs. Trap a bit too far in the back, and like that, Bandits, they are now down more than 100 units, 140 almost. And you can see tier 5 in the favor of LeftoverSmurfs, tier 4 and tier 3 as well. Only tier 2 left for the Bandits. They can try to get this back into their favor, but with 2 minutes 30, there's not really much they can do. They will group up. You can just see so much cavalry from the Bandits. They could have maybe needed them a bit earlier in the fights, and right now they are grouping up again. They try to get to the supply point, but will they succeed to do so? Probably not. Here they go. One unit of Falconetti is still there. Falconetti, can they make a difference? They will start shooting in a few seconds, probably. They are in a good position to focus on the main fight that will break out here as soon as the Bandits enter the intersection of this wall. Here we go. Bandits trying to go in. Bandits also some flanks coming from the ramp on the bottom of the screen. And now cavalry from Bandits and from LeftoverSmurfs just straight into each other. But there's a Phalanx from LeftoverSmurfs, and that's just only cavalry from the Bandits. They will have no chance here against the Phalanx. Beautifully placed in the middle of that hallway, and like that, no chance for the Bandits. 190 units against the 460 left. Falconetti will be finished off by the Polex, and like that, 50 seconds left. That fight is just over and out. No chance for the Bandits to come back, and that will be a 1-0 for LeftoverSmurfs, releasing some pressure from the shoulders of Altishki that will fight after this match. And like that, they will only need a tie now, and Bandits, they at least have to get the second map under their pocket, because otherwise they will be just demoted. They will have no chance to stay in Chivalvric, and they will just be gone from that league and hopefully return to it again, because I think Bandits, they really want to stay in here. Cavalry charge massively through the middle, but just too little, too late. No chance for them to do anything. And there we go. First match officially goes to LeftoverSmurfs. MVP for the Bandits, Shirano, with 179 unit kills, more than 1.6k troop kill score. Massive match from him, but he's just so far ahead of almost anyone else we have in the middle of the bottom. Stoker, Gambino, and Starburst also with more than 100 unit kills, but that's just almost it from the side of the Bandits unit kill wise. Most heroes killed from Bandits Alexo, and also from Bandits Vera and Atagi, so 4 hero kills for all of those 3. LeftoverSmurfs on the other side, their MVP is Let Me Cook. He really cooked here. 7 hero kills, 254 unit kills, and 4 2s as the troop kill score number. Beautiful job from him. Also a bit more to the bottom, Juju Rossi with 170 unit kills, Classico with 156, 150 to Juju Rossi 2, I guess, the same name, just in caps. Good job from those, and most heroes killed go to Sigma, also quite on the bottom with 8. Let's have a look at the post-battle analysis, because that one just tells us which fight was great for the defense and which one wasn't. The first one, of course, massive lead for the defense, just almost double. More out of the unit in one big blob fight, that could help your team to win the whole fight. And I feel like that's exactly what Bandits try to go for now. They still have their shield mains, they still have some failings. I feel like they're still lacking some anti-cav. They have some camels in there and some failings, but it could be not enough. On the other side, LeftoverSmurfs, of course, once again, same setup. They are bringing this time around one-time Falconetti to take care of at least one of the breaches. But we have to see, to wait and see which one it will be, because Falconetti probably won't rotate outside to get both breaches, but we'll just focus on one of them. And I feel like that one could be the one we are seeing in the cinematic right now. We are not seeing it, but it's close to where we can see. I feel like that push will be kind of default. We should be able to see it in a second. Here we go. 2 double-sided push again. I see one unit of double cylinders already being brought. We've seen them work perfectly before. And I was wrong. Falconetti are going to the B point. And of course, heavily protected with Wixing, with the Retin Pikes and the Spear Sergeants. But right now, they will stay safe here. Their defense has some archers, but they are just on the absolute other end of the city. You can see them running around in the back, trying to maybe go to the B point. But they will just be way too late if they want to focus the Falconetti before the breach is done, because the breach is already being taken care of. Kanky gets the opening kill onto Prefix. I don't know where that one happened, but you can see a big jump off the walls on the top of the screen. Bandits going out, trying to get rid of some units from the LeftoverSmurfs already. I don't know what the big focus was here. They try to get back to the city walls here again. It seems like at least 4 of them are safe. Nope, it's only 3. Pollex ultimates getting rid of 3 of the Bandits heroes. And that's a big loss, and I have even no idea what they really went for, because there are no Falconetti on that side. It's only Spear Sergeants, Phalanx, and Red Pikes. What could you aim for? What was the goal sending 7 heroes down the wall? 6 or 7 heroes, I think it was. Breach will be taken care of, and the only thing I could think of right now would be going for the musket heroes. But that's just such a risky play. It was probably a do it or just die for it situation, but that one just didn't go the way Bandits wanted it to go. LeftoverSmurfs already with an open gate on the left hand side, and I would suppose an open gate also on the right hand side, so every entry to the city should be given to them, and they are rotating now to the A point, and that will be the first point of attack for LeftoverSmurfs. And we will have a look at that right hand side. You can see Bandits, they are setting up for the defense. LeftoverSmurfs already going in. Cocos behind it, like those Cocos being brought again from LeftoverSmurfs. They saved them for them, and they are bringing them, and they feel like the Cocos are just such a big difference maker. Defense, I don't see Cocos on their side. Point, A point already being captured. Defense has to stand on it with heroes to protect it, but that will not work forever. Cocos just so devastating, and the Red Pikes with those Cocos will be useless. They're trying to go in, but you can just see them being bombarded by the Cocos. The Arbalests behind it with the massive damage output. They go for everything that moves. Trap going in, and I feel like Bandits, they just can't hold on to that A point. Cavalry from LeftoverSmurfs, every single direction it is being sent to. You can also see cavalry coming from behind, from the flank, and Bandits already losing the first point, being down by 300 units, and the fight on B is also not looking great. One last unit left alive, and cavalry is coming to get rid of that one. Cavalry going in, and you can just see those spears and all falling to the ground. Red Pikes dealing with no miss, and like that, Bandits try to come back to the A point, but that's just not going to work. Massive first approach from LeftoverSmurfs, already getting A and B, and a massive lead of 400 units, and like that one, feels like Bandits have already given up any opportunity for them to hold on to that map. Unit count, you can see it here, almost even in tier 5, but the massive lead of 200 units in tier 4 and 230 units in tier 3, that's just incredible for LeftoverSmurfs. They have so much with them, and I feel like Bandits can't really recover from that one. They have 1 unit of shield mains on the C point, but do they really want to hold on to C right now? Because I feel like C is not the way you can really get the unit trade into your favor again. And it feels like they do. It feels like they really want to hold on to B, onto C, sorry, there. And that with only limited amounts of units. I only see 1 unit of shield mains, 1 unit of spear sergeants, and the rest is falling back to the supply. It feels like that will be a supply defense, just having the shield mains and the spear sergeants in the front to make sure the C point will be safe, at least from heroes jumping it. And like that, shield mains already fell back, and the spear sergeants will also fall back in a few seconds. LeftoverSmurfs predicted trap just to make sure there will be no rotation, no push onto the C point. They can just capture that point for free. A C point halfway through. Cavalry roaming around from the bandits, looking for the supply point on the left hand side of your screen. But will it find anything? Cavalry's going through, will not be stopped. And there's only red and pikemen. That's no value for a unit of cavalry. And I can tell you that Cav will not survive that push. That's just like 95 leadership being taken from the bandits, and they are losing the 245, I think, from the dagger axe. That's just not the trade you want to go for. It was a try, it was an attempt, but it also didn't pay off. 2 more heroes falling to the ground here from the bandits, and like that, big opening opportunity for LeftoverSmurfs, but it feels like they just want to group up and make sure they can stay in the lead, in the driver's seat of that match, and just go to the end, just finish it off very clean. And they are even falling back once again. LeftoverSmurfs, they really approached this very carefully. LeftoverSmurfs now looking for the endpoint directly. There's already 1 unit of the red and round shields fighting against the Heilungs. I don't feel like the Heilungs really has a chance against them. Then we can see them falling to the ground. Heilungs being taken down from a green buckle shield unit, and a lot of units being traded out from the bandits, and they are coming back to the point with mass cavalry. Here we go, cavalry being sent in. Is there anti-cav? Is there enough anti-cav from LeftoverSmurfs? They have to focus in the front, but the Heilungs was located in the back, not ready to hold against so much cavalry. And LeftoverSmurfs, they have just lost a ton of their units. Beautiful push from bandits, just swapping to full cavalry and going for that push from the right hand side. I don't know why LeftoverSmurfs left the unit of Heilungs in the back, because you should definitely know that staircase in the back is the point where cavalry can't come through, so flanks to that position will not go through if you're not flanking with infantry. Cavalry can't reach that point from behind, so Heilungs should just be always located in the front in that position. So big misplay from LeftoverSmurfs. They still have 5 minutes. They are taking the auto supply point and the outpost point, but will it be enough? Because bandits, they are looking for at least a tie here. Still massive lead in units for LeftoverSmurfs, more than 300 units lead, but they have to finish this at some point. And if they can't deal with the cavalry from the bandits, they will be in big trouble. Second time now, LeftoverSmurfs going for that push. Heilungs needs to be in the front this time around, and we have a look here. Will it be the Heilungs staying in the back? Will the Heilungs come to the front? And you can see the Heilungs moving to the front, and like that they should be safe from any cavalry trap. Not really hitting much here. Units from the bandits staying safe, but now big engagement is coming. Big blob from LeftoverSmurfs fighting here their way to the end point. Where's the cavalry from the bandits, and can it break through? There are 3 units of Heilungs. It feels like that's the last anti-cav LeftoverSmurfs have, but that might be the only one they need. Halberdiers also in a good position to stop any cavalry coming from the right hand side, but I feel like that cavalry would not break through, because sometimes you have a cavalry to go around the bottom of his screen now and go into the back. which would be stopped by the Halberdiers, but I mean, that's just a phalanx unit in front of them, so yeah, I feel like that's just too much anti-cav here. The camels will not hold on to that point for long. Hero Polex trying to jump on it, shots out as well, but that's just way too many units on that endpoint to really stop the capping. Cavalry coming in from two different directions, but that's just way too much anti-cav on that point. One more unit of cavalry trying to go in. Massive push, very nicely done, and now the Hussars could break through. Hussars going in, and like that, the push onto the endpoint is being stopped. LeftoverSmurfs have been pushed back for one more time with the cavalry, and that one cavalry charge from the Dagger X from the left-hand side over the point to the right was so incredibly important for the Bandits. But still, unit lead massively in the favor of LeftoverSmurfs. You can see it here. They have just the lead in almost every single unit. Only unit here that is favorable for Bandits is tier 5, which is the best one to have. But in the end, the lead of 23 units will not be enough. There, one more unit of cavalry will be wiped in a few seconds. Spear sergeants should survive those few models of the Dagger X cavalry. And the next cavalry trying to go in. Nope, falling back. Dread Pikes now charging in. That's just one last desperate attempt to stay alive, to just hold on to that map for a bit longer. But the Bandits have to fall back. And you can just see a LeftoverSmurfs. They are just going for the endpoint straight away, and there's not much left there. LeftoverSmurfs should not have any difficulties going to that point. Cavalry to start that fight. Orochi not ready for it. Orochi stabbing now, but that's only 4 or 5 unit models left. Cavalry from Bandits being stopped by the attacking anti-cav. And like that point almost being wiped. Cavalry versus cavalry dealing with that one. And the point, only one short sword on it. Dual blade lurking next to it. The longsword trying to get on it as well. More cavalry and anti-cav coming from the respawn. But will they reach the point? Probably not. Dagger X trying to go onto the point, but that's just way too much on it. LeftoverSmurfs, they try to lock this down. And there we go. LeftoverSmurfs 2-0 victory, and that's the end of the dreams for the Bandits. They are out of the Chivalric division, and like that, here we go. Altishki is safe. MVP for LeftoverSmurfs for the winner side is Lazy with 2 hero kills and 170 unit kills. Massive performance from him. And then we have the most heroes killed from Gigi Rossi in caps with the 5. On the other side, Bandits MVP is Vera with 158 unit kills. Also massive performance from him in this match. 6 heroes killed to his name. The only one matching his hero kills is Kiro with also 6, and those two are the most hero killers for the side of the Bandits. And we can have a look at the post-battle analysis.